Hey developers, first of all, a massive thank you to everyone who supported part 1 of our AI assistant Jarvis. Today, we are taking our AI assistant project to the next level. In part 1, we laid the groundwork, and now we are transforming that concept into powerful, fully functional GUI that pushes the boundary of voice controlled computing. In our coding journey today, we will build a cutting edge interface that bridges voice command with actionable intelligence and integrating the Gemini AI model for advanced task processing, also creating a responsive, intuitive GI that feels like something out of sci-fi movie. Key features that we are implementing in this video are voice-to-action command processing, dynamic visual feedback, seamless app interaction, real-time information retrieval through LLM, and by watching this video you will learn advanced GI design with Python Kivy framework, Gemini model integration, voice command processing, creating responsive and intelligent interface. To everyone who asked for part 2, this is the moment you have been waiting for. We have listened to your suggestion and incorporated your ideas. So, are you ready to build the future of personal AI assistant? Let's dive in. Before we initiate this project, I just want to give a quick overview of this project. At first, the prerequisite for this GI video is that you should have watched the Jarvis part 1 so that you will get the better understanding that how we have implemented functions and program in our Jarvis, and also it will be helpful for you to undergo this video as well as we progress. And in this video we'll first create an intuitive graphical user interface with the help of Python Kivy framework, which will let the visual appeal of our GUI, and then we will integrate it with LLM like Gemini AI to make it more advanced and powerful than ever. Now, as we are in Jarvis part 2, we have some changes from part 1. The first one is that we will use VS Code this time rather than PyCharm ID. And the second one is that we will build project on Conda environment rather than virtual environment. And the reason behind this is that some built-in Python modules that are needed in building GI is not available in virtual environment. So that's why we will use Conda environment. And for that, we have to first install a mini Conda. So go to Google. Yeah, here write mini Conda install and go through first link. Here we have to go here and go to this repo. Yeah, so here you have to download the mini Conda version on the basis of your operating system. Like I have Windows, so I will install for in Windows. Yeah, yeah. Select here next. I agree. And here you have to set all user. Yeah, it is giving us the path of installation, and I'm not going to install this because I have already installed. And if you want any more assistance in downloading Miniconda, then you can go through any installation and set up video of Miniconda on YouTube. I have, because I have already installed. I'm not going to install it one more. And also you have to look at how you can set up environment variables in Miniconda to run it on VS Code or other IDE. Yeah. So let's move on to project setup. Before we proceed with creating the GUI, we need to make some adjustment to our folder and project structure. As you can see that I have added two new folder to our folder structure, that is static, that will contain all the images and other assets. And here we have also a requirement file that will contain all the necessary Python modules. You can obtain these two files by visiting the project repository, which I have already mentioned in the description box. Now regarding the folder structure, I will be renaming some file as follows. Our main.py will be renamed as main without GUI. Online.py will be renamed as utils.py, and also const.py will be named as constants. Next, we have to create some more files that will be here. Create jarvis.py and also create jarvis button.py and also create main.py. Yeah, this new main.py will be executed every time we have to run our Jarvis GUI. Yeah, so then close this all file. Now, before restarting the project, I will first create a conda environment. So go to terminal, first switch to GUI, and here write command conda create auto. Our environment is creating. Yeah, now we will activate the environment. Conda activate auto. Yeah, so now we will install all the necessary Python modules by running the command pip install requirements. It is essential for all of you to install the required Python modules from the requirement file. I will not be installing each module individually as it would be time consuming process. Additionally, make sure to download the static folder and requirement file from the Jarvis project repository as they are prerequisite for this setup. Yeah. So here you can see that all modules are installed and now I will jump to development part. So cross this. We also need to make a few changes to our old code. First, we need to update our text to speech model, and second, we need to properly set up all the API key and URLs. To begin this, first go to env file. Yeah, here we will store all the necessary user information and sensitive data. Now here we will write all the API keys and their URLs. So I have already copied. You can find this by GitHub. You can visit Jarvis Part-1 to know how I get this API key and their URLs. Also add SMTP URL and SMTP port. Here write 587. It will be our Gmail port number. Now go to constant.py. Here remove all this unnecessary text. Here in this constant.py, we will store all the constant value that will be used throughout the code base like API key and URL, which will retrieve through environment variable and configuration files value from env file. So first import OS. Here write email equals to os dot environment dot get and write password os dot environment dot get. It will fetch the email and password value from env file, and here we have to also write IP address, news fetch API, and weather forecast API too. So we'll fast forward. Yeah. So here you can see that we have fetched the old value from .env file and also write smtp port and URL. Yeah. So by this os.environment.get, we will fetch all the data we have inserted in these values. And now get back to utils.py. And here we will create a speak function which will be used instead of older speak function which we built through Microsoft CP5 because that model has a major issue with GUI and speech recognition function that you viewers were also mentioning in Jarvis part 1. Yeah, so here we will change our text to speech model to Google Text to Speech GTTS, which is a Python library which allows you to convert text to speech using a Google Text to Speech API. So first import this GTTS module, import GTTS, and also import OS, and also write from file dot import audio segment from file dot playback. And yeah, here we will create a speak function, def speak. Here write TTS equals to GTTS dot GTTS. It will set the language as English. You can say you can change if you want to change. And here create output.wave. It will generate a audio file that will be removed after the GI is run. Audio segment dot from file output.wave. Here write os.remove output.wave. It will remove the audio files that our TTS model will create, and also write audio equals to audio dot speed up playback speed equals to 1.5, and here write play audio. Yeah, and after that we have to import all the API key and API URLs which we have written in constant.py. So go at the top. Here we have to first remove this. We don't need this, and write from constants import email password API address URL news fetch weather forecast, and also SMTP URL, SMTP port, news fetch API, weather API. Yeah, here we are done. So we have import all the variables from our constant.py, And also we have to update the news and weather function as we update their API key variable. So get back to here down the news function. Here in the news function, we have to remove all this first and news fetch API URL and the parameters of what news we want from our AI. We have to write in JSON format, country, India, category, general. It will provide all the general uses and API key will be news fetch API key. And also update weather function. Here also remove this API URL and here we have to write weather forecast API URL and their parameters will be first write here Q that will be named as city and also write API ID. Here we will write weather forecast API key and also the unit of measure that will be metric. Yeah, we have done with updating the weather and news function. Now that we have finished modifying the old code, I will start creating the GUI. Let's begin developing the Jarvis interface. Now come to Jarvis button.py. In this file, we will create a Jarvis button which will lead to visually enhance our GUI and also user experience. Here I will first import some Kivy libraries that are from Kivy.uix.button import button. Here we have import button from Kivy UX library, which is a fundamental widget for our Jarvis GUI, and it will also trigger an event when it will be pressed or released. Also import from Kivy graphics, import rotate. It will be easy to rotate our widget within a GUI. And now here define a class that will be Jarvis button. Here right button. Now create a init function. Yeah, here it will define a constructor method for our Jarvis button class, and in this super we have to write our class name that is Jarvis button and also write self. This super method will call the constructor of the class and now write self dot angle equals to 2 and self dot background angle equals to 0. Here self refers to the current instance of class and it will be used to access and modify methods, and it will be used to consistent code with Kivy. It is the basic necessity of Kivy library. And here create another function that is def rotate button. Here write arguments and write self dot background angle plus equals to self dot angle self dot canvas dot before clear. Yeah, this will remove the existing rotate instruction from our canvas before adding a new one. And also we have to write before instruction, that will be with self dot canvas dot before. Here our Jarvis will rotate and angle equals to its origin will be center. It will set the rotation will be around center point of our button. And now we are done with button function and we will move to jarvis.py. Come to jarvis.py. This jarvis.py will include all the core functionality of our Jarvis, and it will also control the GUI of our Jarvis. And initially we have to import all the essential model that we have installed at the beginning. So here first write import. Now also import widget, image, label and other things from Kivy UX library. For that we will write from Kivy dot UIX import widget. It will be used to create our and manage our widget elements, and also import image. It will be used to display image with our Kivy app. Label. It will display all the static or dynamic text context on our GI, content on our GI, and also write box layout. It will be used for organizing widget within a container, and text input. It will be used for input field. Now also import from Kivy import clock. Also we have to download another module that will be, first go to terminal. Yeah, here we have to first install conda install fmpeg. It will be used for our speak function that we have problem with last speak function that we have created with Microsoft Shopify. So we will install this. Yeah, it is downloaded, and you have also to download this after pip install. Close this, and also we have to set the width and height of our GUI application. So go back to constant.py, and here we will first write from Kivy dot config and set the width and height of our GUI. Also write config dot set graphics. It will be config our width and height to our graphics of our GUI, and graphic is used to specify our window size and other graphic related settings. Also write config dot set graphics. Here we have to set the height element, right here height variable, We have to also set to full screen. So right here graphics. By this our Jarvis will work on full screen. And we have to also set the screen width and screen height. So here we will write config dot get int graphics. Here write width and also set screen height. Yeah, now go back to jarvis.py and here we will import all those both attributes. So right here from constants import screen height and screen width. Also import all the Jarvis function from other files too. So here we will write from utils import our old function that are speak, YouTube, send email, news function, forecast function, and also IP function. Yeah, now also import Jarvis button. So write from Jarvis button import Jarvis button. It will import the class from Jarvis button file. Here create a new class that will be Jarvis, which will contain all the core functionality and GUI functions and how GUI will work. So first write class Jarvis and here write widget dot widget. Here widget class is a base class used to create any widget in a Kivy app, and now we will create a init method in it. Right here def init. It will be work as a constructor function. Yeah, and here write the class name Jarvis and self. Yeah, now set the volume self dot volume. It will set the initial volume level to 0 and this will be changed whenever we will speak any command or GUI. Also write the history of our volume and write here self dot volume history. Here in the set write 0. These all are the initial value of our history, and by this we create a list of our volume history. Also set the size of this according to which our button will enlarge and exlarge. Volume history size 140. Yeah, it will be the maximum number of volume level that we will be storing in our volume history list. And now we will add all the widgets within our GUI. So first we will go with adding our background image, that will be self dot add widget, and here we will use the image function. In this we have to write the source of our image which will be displayed on GUI. Right here static where we have stored the images, border dot eps dot png. It is the background of our GUI and size will be 1920 and 1080. These all are the width and height of our GUI. Now write self dot circle equals to Jarvis button. Its size will be, and background. Here we will use another image, that is static circle dot png. It will be used around our button function, and it will also create a custom button name as a circle. So also write self dot circle dot bind on press self dot start recording. By this, an event will trigger and our Jarvis will start listening by this start recording function, which we will create later. And first call this start recording function self dot start recording. It will call the function and also add more widgets, like also add more images like Jarvis dot gif. Its position will be screen width, yeah. It will add the main widget, that is our Jarvis GIF, to our GUI. And now add time layout. Time, it will display the current time. It will be covered in box layout, and its position will be 150 to 900. It will create a box layout that will display current time, and we have also set the position of it. So now add some more configuration in this time layout. Time label, here write text, font size equals to 24. Also add the font name. We have already saved this font in our static file, so we will write static mw.ttf. Yeah, it will create a label that for a time layout variable where it will display, and also the font type. And now add this widget by time layout dot add widget, and here include time label. It will add the time label within the time layout widget. Also add time layout. Yeah, Here the widget is added with both the parent and child layout added. We will set the clock timing that will update every second. Schedule interval. It will update time with every second. And right here, self.title. Also set the attribute of for our font. We have added bold text and a color for the text. And the text will be error by night, which is our channel name. Yeah, here in the both the tag and attributes, and also include the font size. Font name will be static, and its position will be, yeah. By here we create a new text field that will be the our title of our GUI. Now add this widget. Now I will create an input field that will display the command that we give to our Jarvis on our GUI. Here write text input dot text input. Here write text. Set the background color. It will be black, so, and foreground color, it will be white. Set the height of our input field. Also position where this input field will be situated on our Jarvis. Also include the font name. Now add this widget by writing self dot subtitles input. Here we have created subtitle input, and also add some more text like self dot brh. Also add self dot add widget. Here write self dot vlh self dot circle. Yeah. So this self dot vrh and self dot vlh doesn't make any sense in our GI, but we have added this so that our GI will become more futuristic. And now copy take command function from main without GI. Copy this one. Yeah, and paste it over here. Yeah, we have to deal with some indentation. Remove this. Yeah, and right here self, as we are dealing with Kivy library, and also we have to write here return. Yeah, now let's create a start recording function. For that, def start recording. Yeah, so this function will be responsible for recording our voice, and let's continue. Here we will create a threading process. Set target as self dot run speech recognition function. It is one more function that we will create later. And in the end, write start. Yeah, it will create a thread that will execute multiple tasks concurrently, and we have to conclude this. Print recording ended. Yeah, and now create a speech recognition function that will start this thread, and also it will recognize user voice, and it will be responsible for recognize input from user. So create another function that is def run speech recognition. Yeah, and here we have to write print before speech recognition, and also write r equals to sr dot recognizer. This function will recognize the voice, and also with sr dot microphone as source, print listening. Yeah. So here basically what this speech recognition function will do is it will recognize the user voice, and also it will be responsible for recognize input from user. And here you can see that we have user microphone to recognize, and this will be stored in audio variable. Now create a try block. Query equals to r dot recognize Google, and also write audio and language as arguments. Print the query we have recognized, and also create a except block, that is if there is an unknown value error, then we have to write also write except sr dot request error as e. Return this query. Yeah, we have to also add a hotkey that will trigger whenever our Jarvis will start listening. So get back over here. Here we have to write keyboard dot add hotkey and tilde operator self dot start recording. So whenever we trigger this tilde operator button, our Jarvis will start recording our voice, and it is done by this function where we create a particular thread for recognizing voice. Yeah. Now we have to write another function, that is def update time self dt. Yeah. This function will update the time displayed at our GUI, and write here current time equals to time dot strf time, and write here time. Now we have to create a label field for our time. So write here self dot time label dot text, and we have to also update the circle button, that is our main Jarvis. Here in the try block, write self dot size value equals to int mp dot min self dot volume history. Also create exception block. Yeah. Now create a if else block. Write yourself dot size value is equals to self dot min size. Elif self dot size value is greater than equals to self dot max size. Now set the position of this circle variable. Yeah. So the whole meaning of this function is that the circle around the Jarvis GIF will maximize and rotate according to user voice fluctuation. And if the voice pitch is high, the circle will become large, and if it is below, the circle will become small. Now create another function that will be def update volume. Here in the arguments write self in data frames time and status of the GUI. Right here volume np dot. Yeah, here we are using numpy. By this numpy value we will get to know what is the pitch of our voice and also the value of our voice. Here this function will be fluctuated whenever we speak with high modulation voice towards GUI, and also write self dot vrh dot text equals to f, and write here the content that will be np dot min self dot volume history and close the text. Also write for VLH. VLH dot text equals to f string, and here write one more. It will be used for multiple line indentation. Right here the color and it will round off the volume history value. Now copy the same, paste it 7 times, and here just change the values. Now close the text and also write B. Yeah. Also create for self.vrh. Copy all this. If length of our self.volume history will be greater than self.volume history size, then it will be self.volume history. This will keep the volume history within the defined size limit. Now, this function is not that much required in our Jarvis, but we have to create this function just that our Jarvis looks some kind of futuristic animation. And now let's create the different function, that is def start listening. Yeah, here we have to write self dot string. Yeah, it will create an audio input stream using sound device library, and here write self dot stream start, and this line will activate the microphone and start capturing audio data from user. Now we will go through Jarvis command function, which we have also created in previous video. So here create one more function that will be handle Jarvis commands self, and here write query. Now after creating this function, we have to return back to speech recognition function. Yeah, over here. And here we have to write in try block that clock dot clock schedule once. Set attribute subtitles input, and also write text query. And here over we have to write the function we have created, self dot handle Jarvis command query dot lower. And after this we have to first go to main without GUI, and here in this main without GUI we have to copy the handle Jarvis, sorry, we have to copy all this and come here again. In this handle Jarvis command we have to first create a try block, and here we will paste all the content we have copied. Yeah, it has some indentation error. It is fixed now. Also, we have to add a exception block in the end. Yeah. So now we have to deal with some other things like first of all, we will remove this Wolfram Alpha code because we are not using this in Jarvis anymore. Also, after this, we have to update news and Wikipedia function. Go to here, Wikipedia. Here we have to write search on Wikipedia and here write self dot take command lower and remove this. We don't need this. And also in give me news function, we have to remove all this. We have to insert all the self tag before all the take command dot lower function because we are working on Kivy. So write all over here. Here remove this and also write search on Google and add self dot take command also over here. Yeah, we have done with this and yeah. So here you can see that our Jarvis GUI setup is completed as well as all Jarvis function, and now we will create a build class in a main py through which our Kivy application will run. Now go to main.py and here we have to first write from .env import and also write from Kivy import app and clock and also from jarvis.py import Jarvis class. Yeah. Now here we have to create a class. So right here first class. By this class, our Jarvis application will run. It will create a class name as my Kiwi app. And in this class, we have to first write a build function. Yeah. The build function is a special method in Kiwi application and it is responsible for creating the root widget. It means the main element of the application user interface. In this build function, write Jarvis, sorry, Jarvis equals to Jarvis. It will create a instance of our Jarvis class, which we have imported from jarvis.py, and also write Jarvis dot start listening right here. Update event. Yeah, here it will update the event from our clock cycle, and also write button rotation event. Here we have to write Jarvis dot circle rotate button 1 by 60, which means 1 second. And here after all return Jarvis class. Yeah. Now create a main function through which our Kivy application will run. Here write if then my Kivy app will equals to my Kivy app. It will create the instance of our my Kivy app. Now let's run the program and see how our GUI is implemented. Run py main.py, and here you can see that we are getting multiple errors. Let me figure out all of this. Yeah, so get back to Jarvis file, and here you can see that we had made a blunder by including all the functions within our constructor functions, and it's basically an indentation error we had created by including all the functions in init function. So let's get all the function outside of init function. And also in run speech recognition function, here we have to remove the parenthesis, and now go down here, and here we have to write commands, not command, which is causing error. And now get back to our constructor function. Here we have to include two more functions within our constructor function, that are self dot min size equals to 0.2 into screen width, and self dot max size equals to zero point 0.7 into screen width. Yeah. Now get back to main.py, and here you can see that we have to write here small j instead of capital J, because we had to return the variable, not the Jarvis class. And now let's again run the program and see whether it is running well or not. Here write py main.py and run. Yeah. So here you can see that our Jarvis is running well, and you can also see all the elements and widgets we use in GUI, like background image, Jarvis GIF, time layout, Jarvis response field, and as well as also color and fonts we have used in our Jarvis. So let's test the functionality of our Jarvis by running our core functions. Jarvis, open YouTube.
What do you want to play on YouTube, sir?
Play Error by Night. Yeah, here you can see that it has opened our video. And now test another functions, that is Jarvis search on Wikipedia.
What do you want to search on Wikipedia, sir?
Virat Kohli.
According to Wikipedia, Virat Kohli, Hindi pronunciation, Kohli, born the 5th of November 1988, is an Indian international cricketer who plays Test and ODI cricket for the Indian national team. A former captain Test, ODI, and T. Kohli retired from the achieving remarkable success in each captaincy. He served as the captain of the Indian national cricket team in all three formats, leading the team with significant wins and establishing himself as a strong and determined leader.
Jarvis, tell our audience to subscribe our channel.
Everyone who are watching this video, Please subscribe for more amazing content from Arrow by Night. I will show you how to do this. Firstly, go to YouTube. Click on the search bar. Arrow by Night. Press enter. Here you will see our channel. Click here to subscribe our channel. And also don't forget to press the bell icon. Turn on all notifications.
Now we will integrate our Jarvis with Gemini API. So first go to Google and here we will search Gemini API. Go to Google AI Studio. Here we have to create the API key. Create API key. Copy this one and get back to VS Code. Here in environment file, we have to first write our Gemini API key. Paste it over here and now get back to constant.py. Here we have to include another variable that is Gemini API key equals to os.environment.get Gemini API key. Yeah, now get back to jarvis.py. Here we have to import the Gemini API key from constant. Also import Google generative model by writing import google.generative AI as Gen AI. And also we have to configure this model. So right here Gen AI dot configure API key equals to Gemini API key. By this we will configure Gemini API with our Gen AI model, and also we have to configure the model. So right here Gen AI dot generative model, and here we will write the model of our Gemini, which is Gemini 1.5 flash. Now we have to create a function for our Gemini response. So get back over here, over handle Jarvis command. Here we will create a function for Gemini response, and in this function we will first write a try block and response equals to model dot generate content query, as well as return the response in text field. Yeah, it will return the response in text format, and by this we will fetch the response from our model and also write for accept block. And also write return statement that will be get to our enter Jarvis command function. Here in the else command, here in the else condition, we will write else Gemini response equals to self dot get Gemini response, and right here query Gemini response equals to Gemini response dot replace asterisk with blank space, and it will remove the asterisk symbol from our response. And now create another if condition. If Gemini response and Gemini response does not equals to, yeah, this if condition will generate if our Gemini is not able to respond to our answer. Now let's test the functionality of Jarvis integrated with Gemini API, and here we will ask question apart from the command we have written for our Jarvis to answer, and it will return the response fetched from Gemini model. Yeah, so now again run this program. Jarvis, who is the Prime Minister of India?
The current Prime Minister of India is Narendra Modi.
What is the capital of France?
The capital of France is Paris.
Jarvis, who plays the role of Captain America in Marvel?
Chris Evans plays Captain America in the MCU.
Why is the Christmas celebrated on 25th of December?
Christmas, celebrated annually on December 25th, commemorates the birth of Jesus Christ, a central figure in Christianity. While the exact date of Jesus' birth is unknown, December 25th was chosen possibly to coincide with existing Roman winter solstice festivals. The celebration involves religious services, gift giving based on the biblical story of the Magi's gifts, decorating Christmas trees and homes, sharing festive meals with family and friends, and exchanging cards expressing goodwill. Christmas is a globally observed holiday, blending religious traditions with secular customs.
Write a code to print hello world in Python.
The simplest way to print hello world in Python is Python print hello world backward.
Jarvis, can you explain the offside rule of football?
A player is offside if, at the moment the ball is played to them by a teammate, they are nearer to the opponent's goal line than both the ball and the second to last opponent. Excluding the goalkeeper, being offside alone isn't a foul. It only becomes one if they're involved in active play, e.g., interfering with play, gaining advantage.
Jarvis, write a song based on the theme of coders for our audience.
Verse 1. Sunrise bleeds across the screen. Another day begins. The coffee's brewing. Code compiling. Where the magic spins. A symphony of keystrokes. A rhythm in the night. We build the future, line by line, in digital sunlight. Chorus. Oh, we're the coders. The digital shamans. Weaving spells of logic. In algorithmic canyons. From server farms to smartphones bright. We shape the world with code and light. Verse 2. Debugging demons haunt the code. A frustrating chase. Through tangled loops and broken paths. At a breakneck pace. But with a focused mind and will, we conquer every bug, a triumph small, a victory won, with a triumphant hug. Chorus. Oh, we're the coders, the digital shamans, weaving spells of logic, in algorithmic canyons, from server farms to smartphones bright. We shape the world with code and light. Bridge. We are more than just the ones who type. We are architects of thought, designing systems, building bridges, where solutions are sought. With creativity and passion, we craft the digital art, connecting people, sharing dreams, a brand new, coded heart.
Yeah, here you can see the script of our song Jarvis has created, and by this all this response you get the idea of how you can ask any questions to our Jarvis by integrating with Gemini API, and it has become more advanced by integrating it with Gemini, and you can ask multiple questions from it, and in furthermore query you can also add other Jarvis command functions to make it more advanced. Yeah, so we cover all the possible aspects for our Jarvis, from building GUI to integrating it with Gemini LLM model. You can make it more advanced by using other LLM model or programming new commands for our Jarvis. And homework for all of you this is to create a responsive text field on our GUI. And that's all from my end. I hope you like this video. So make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And also drop the comment about how you rate this Jarvis. And thank you for watching.